My girlfriend asked for an open relationship, so I slept with her best friend. Now she's losing it. I'm 28 and genuinely thought I had a great relationship with my girlfriend, Lila, 27. 3 years together, 2 years living together. Things were genuinely good. I was even looking at engagement rings to propose to her. We met at a board game night. We just clicked, started dating, and moved in together after a year because it felt right, and we were always at each other's places anyway. We had our routines, Sunday pancakes, after-work park walks, watching her trashy reality TV while I played games. Normal couple stuff. Lila works in marketing, and I'm in construction project management. Good jobs, good friends, families get along. My mom loved her, and her dad always invited me to watch football. We were that couple, the one people envied. Yeah, I know how that sounds. Everything was normal until one day. We were having dinner and having a discussion, and then she just casually suggested we have an open relationship. I thought I misheard. Nope. She went on about reading about it online, how other couples were doing it, how it could help us grow and make us stronger. I asked her if there was someone else, because who brings up this type of discussion out of nowhere? She got defensive, saying it wasn't about anyone else, just about exploring ourselves, and she didn't want us to wake up in 10 years wondering what we missed. I was floored. This is the same girl who once got mad at a waitress for smiling at me too much. Now this. I asked if she was unhappy. She denied it, insisting she loved me, loved us, and that this was about making things better. She suggested we could have new experiences but still come home to each other, mentioning how some couples found it strengthened their bond. I was shocked. Meanwhile, Lila was practically glowing, talking about boundaries, rules, communication. All I could think was, where was this coming from? I know I sound like a pushover, but I said okay. Not because I wanted to, but because she was so eager, so insistent. Saying no felt like she'd do it anyway. She asked if I was sure, all innocent, and if I wasn't comfortable, we didn't have to. I looked at her, saw how desperate she was for me to agree, and knew I was trapped. I said it was fine, forcing a nod, and that if she thought it would be good for us, we could try it. Just like that, I was in something I hated, knowing I was already losing her. She got all excited, talking about dating app profiles, a system for dates, all stuff she'd clearly already planned. I wondered how long she'd been thinking about this. The rest of the night was weird. We watched TV, but my mind was racing. Lila was cuddled up to me, acting normal. I wanted to take it back, but I didn't know how. Seeing her smile at her phone made me feel sick. I couldn't sleep that night. Lila was out cold, while I wondered what I'd done. Part of me wanted to wake her up and say no, but another part was scared of what she'd do. So, I lay there, replaying every conversation, looking for signs I'd missed. Was she bored? Was I not enough? Was there someone else? Things changed immediately. Lila spent the next evening setting up her Tinder and Bumble profiles, asking me to help with photos. I played along, taking pictures of my girlfriend for other guys. I tried setting up my own profile, but it felt wrong. What was I supposed to write? In a relationship, but looking for fun? Gross. I think she knew I wouldn't meet anyone. I'm not social, and I don't have the time. Lila got matches instantly. She's gorgeous, of course, but it was how fast she started meeting them. Within a week, 3 dates. She'd show me their profiles like they were celebrity crushes. The first time she got ready for a date, I felt sick. She came home late, giggling. I pretended to be asleep, but I heard her texting for hours. Next morning, she was humming, acting perfect. One night, I even drove by the restaurant. Saw her at the bar with some guy in a suit, laughing. She had her hand on his arm, looking at him the way she used to look at me. The worst part wasn't seeing her with them. It was how she changed at home. Less time with me. No more cuddles. Always texting. Our Sunday pancakes? Gone. She was meeting the girls for brunch. I tried talking to her. Don't you think you're going on a lot of dates? I asked. She looked at me like I was stupid. That's the point, isn't it? New people, new experiences? You should try it. I didn't want to try it. I wanted her back. The one who loved pizza and bad movies with me. Not this new version always dressed up and going out. It had been 3 weeks. 3 weeks of her dressing up for other guys. 3 weeks of wondering where she was, what she was doing. 3 weeks of feeling like I was losing it. I thought she'd snap out of it, see how ridiculous this was. But she didn't. No hesitation, no guilt. She was proud of it, like she'd discovered some secret level of dating. And I still didn't understand why. Things were good between us. Why ruin it? Why pretend it wasn't enough? Then it hit me. There was no going back. It was over. And for the first time, I didn't even care. The thought of her out there, having fun, while I was stuck here, made me angry. I wanted her to regret it. I didn't have a plan yet, but I knew I wasn't going to sit around while she had all the fun. I needed to talk to someone. Someone who understood. That's when Maya started coming around more. Lila's best friend since college. Just a good and caring person. She's a kindergarten teacher, which makes sense because she's so caring. I never thought of her as more than a friend. Sure, she's pretty. Long brown hair, green eyes, always smiling, but she was firmly in the friend zone. The first time she came over after Lila started this open relationship thing, it was to borrow some mixing bowls for a birthday cake she was making. Lila was out, surprise, with some new guy, and Maya could tell something was off. She remarked on how terrible I looked and inquired about what was going on. I didn't intend to tell her everything. But it all spilled out. How Lila had sprung the open relationship idea on me, how she'd been dating different guys almost every night, and how I felt like I was going crazy watching it all. Maya listened, actually listened, not just waiting for her turn to speak. When I finished, she shook her head, saying it wasn't an open relationship, just Lila doing whatever she wanted without any regard for how it affected me. Hearing someone else say it made me feel a little less insane. Maya started coming by more often after that, usually when Lila was out on her dates. We'd watch movies, order takeout, just hang out. It was nice having someone to talk to who knew both of us and could understand the situation. One night, Maya came over looking nervous. She admitted she'd had feelings for me for a long time, since before Lila and I even got together. But I was with Lila, and she was her best friend, so she never said anything. I sat there, trying to process it all. Maya, kind, hilarious, drop-dead, gorgeous Maya, had feelings for me? How had I not seen that? She was the one who helped me pick out gifts for Lila, the same Lila who was still figuring out if she even wanted something serious with me. Maya, who made me homemade chicken soup when I was sick, while Lila barely texted to check in. Had I been blind this whole time? She quickly added that I didn't have to say anything. She just needed me to know. Watching Lila treat me like this, seeing how much it was hurting me, had been killing her. I deserved better. I looked at her, really looked at her, maybe for the first time. Her hair was up in one of those effortless, messy buns that shouldn't have been attractive, but somehow made her look even better. And right then, I wondered how the hell I never noticed before. At the same time, Lila's actions were still burning in the back of my mind. She really thought I'd sit around, waiting like some loyal idiot, while she paraded around with not just one guy, but multiple? Nah. For me, that chapter was closed. I wasn't playing by her terms anymore. I was playing by mine. I decided to shoot my shot. We both moved closer to each other, and I acknowledged that this was complicated. I knew I was probably making everything worse by saying this, but seeing her so unhappy these past few weeks, I just couldn't stay quiet anymore. Then she kissed me, just leaned in and kissed me. I should have stopped it. I should have thought about Lila, about our friendship, about how complicated this would make everything. Instead, I kissed her back. It wasn't just a kiss. We ended up spending the night together, and it was different. Maya noticed me, was really interested in me. She noticed when something in my expression changed, asked what I was thinking, and actually cared about the answer. Afterward, lying there in the dark, I let it all sink in, how far this had gone, how everything had shifted. The realization that I'd just slept with my girlfriend's best friend, something that should have felt like crossing a line, but all I could think about was how right it felt. I thought this wasn't some meaningless rebound or some impulsive mistake. Now, I'm wondering when I'll tell Lila. Update 1. Finally decided to tell Lila. Although part of me wanted to test the waters first, see how she'd react to little hints. Yeah, maybe it was petty, but after watching her go on dates with different guys for weeks, I figured she deserved a taste of her own medicine. So, I casually mentioned that Maya had stopped by some nights before, and we had a really good talk. Lila's hand froze on the coffee pot. She wanted to know what we talked about. I shrugged, just saying life, relationships, feelings. It was nice. The look on her face was priceless. She spent the next hour glued to her phone, probably texting Maya for details while pretending to watch TV with me. Every few minutes, she'd glance at me, trying to figure out what was going on. Over the next few days, I started mentioning Maya more often, how funny she was, how she really understood me, how we'd been texting. Lila tried to smile, but it looked more like she was in pain. She commented that Maya and I had been talking a lot lately. I agreed, saying she's great to talk to, she really gets me. After that, Lila started checking my phone whenever I left it lying around. She thought she was being sneaky, but I caught her scrolling through my messages more than once when she thought I wasn't looking. The funny thing? Lila started showing up at places she knew I'd be. If I mentioned grabbing coffee at a spot near work, she'd magically be there. If I said I was meeting friends at a bar, she'd show up an hour later, claiming she was just in the neighborhood. The best part? She started canceling her own dates. Suddenly, she was home more often, trying to watch movies with me, cook dinner together, like she was marking her territory without admitting that's what she was doing. After countless subtle attempts to get closer, she finally cracked. She straight up asked if I was seeing someone else. She said that wasn't the point of an open relationship, that we were supposed to be free to explore, not fall for someone new. She wanted to know if it was Maya. If I was sleeping with Maya. I just smiled and reminded her that we weren't supposed to share details about our other partners. Wasn't that what she said when I'd asked about her dates? Lila lost it. She went through my Instagram followers, checked who liked my posts, analyzed every interaction. Then, Maya posted a selfie at a coffee shop. The same coffee shop I go to every morning. Lila called me immediately, demanding to know if I was with Maya right then. I told her I was at work, but Maya always gets coffee there. The panic in her voice was almost amusing. I let her stew for a minute before adding that the coffee shop has thousands of customers. People can go to the same place without it meaning anything. But she wasn't buying it. She started questioning where I was going, who I was seeing, what I was doing. The same woman who had spent weeks coming home late from dates, refusing to give me straight answers, was suddenly demanding full transparency from me. Maya thought it was hilarious when I told her about Lila's behavior. Maya and I had been meeting in secret, usually at her place where Lila wouldn't accidentally spot us. Any guilt I had at first quickly faded, replaced with something that felt a lot like justice. One night, while cuddled up on Maya's couch, she joked that Lila clearly couldn't handle not being in control. I agreed, adding that the best part was she couldn't even complain without admitting she never actually wanted an open relationship. She just wanted permission to cheat. Later, Lila came home one night and dropped a bomb. She thought we should close the relationship again. I just stared at her as she sat on our couch, acting all serious and concerned, saying we should focus on each other again. The same person who had been going on dates nonstop for weeks was suddenly acting like she was doing me some huge favor. She even reached for my hand, saying we could go back to how things were before. I laughed. That's when I decided to stop playing games. I told her she was right. I hadn't been happy, watching her date a new guy every other night while barely acknowledging my existence. She tried to look sympathetic, but it didn't quite land. She claimed she knew it was hard for me, and that's why she wanted to close things again. We could work on us. Work on us. I repeated, like how you've been working on getting to know half the guys in this city. She got defensive, saying that wasn't fair. I agreed to the open relationship. I could have been dating too. I told her I had been. Her face went pale. She stammered, asking who it was. I just watched her spiral. She jumped up from the couch, pacing, running her hands through her hair. It's Maya, isn't it? She asked, piecing it together. That's why you've been talking about her so much. That's why she's been avoiding my calls. You slept with my best friend. She was losing it, realizing that the same freedom she'd taken advantage of had come back to bite her. You can't sleep with my best friend, she screamed. I stood up and met her glare. Actually, I can and I did. She froze, staring at me in shock. What did you just say? I said I slept with Maya. Multiple times, actually. I paused before adding. And you know what? It was great. She actually cares about my feelings, which is more than I can say for you lately. Her expression shifted from disbelief to pure rage in seconds. And honestly, I didn't feel bad at all.